This is most likely the last warning that I'm going to put out there about this issue, because I made a video about this problem about a month ago, but most people did not take it seriously at all, and now the problem has gotten much, much worse. Now, for those of you all who don't know, there's a famous UFC fighter by the name of Penn, who, for lack of better words, has been losing his mind lately. And I am a big fan of Penn. I watched all of his fights growing up. I followed him on social media. I was aware of him speaking out about certain problems in Hawaii and stuff like that. But recently, the dude's started acting kind of crazy. I mean, saying some wild stuff, claiming that his family had been murdered and replaced by the government. Like his mom and other family members were replaced by clones or lookalikes who are all sent there to, I guess, make his life a living hell and to steal his money and to do whatever. I don't know. The guy's got some wild stuff that he's been saying. Now, you know, though, I'm into conspiracies. I'm into the weird stuff. But this dude's allegations were really far freaking out there. It was obvious that he had been dealing with some mental health issues, probably from getting punched and kicked in the head too much, I don't know. But he started posting these creepy, weird videos, basically following his elderly mother around his house, recording her as she does daily activities, as he talks about how she's been replaced or cloned or whatever. At one point, he even mentions something about hurting someone. It's some really scary stuff. I mean, literally, his elderly mother is like cooking eggs, folding laundry, walking the dog, and he's following her around with the camera, talking about how she's been replaced by the government. And you can tell that she's kind of like a sweet older lady who kind of knows, hey, my son's off his rocker, but she just doesn't really pay him any mind. Like, she's literally there scrambling eggs as he has his phone in her face, like, yeah, see, she's a government replacement. And she's just here making eggs, like, come on, man, just shut up. You know what I mean? So it's really scary stuff, and I'm afraid that this guy's going to unalive his elderly mother, maybe himself, maybe other family members. I see this ending up in a total Chris Benoit type of situation. Chris Benoit is a famous WWF or WWE wrestler that took out his whole family and then took out himself. Fun fact, I saw Chris Benoit's last house show before he drove home and unalived his family. So that's always kind of a weird feeling to have, knowing that I saw one of, if not his last match before going home and doing what he did. And for those of you all who don't know, a house show is basically like, you know, the WWE, they have their televised shows like Raw or SmackDown that they play on TV on Monday or Thursday or Friday or whenever. House shows are shows that aren't televised, right? They come to smaller towns, little civic centers and stuff. So I was watching this dude do flying headbutts like literally a couple of days, if not a day or so, before he went and unalived himself and his family. So that was always a weird kind of thing to have to deal with growing up. But anyways, this Penn situation, it's getting scary. And many people are laughing it off. Some people are feeding into his conspiracy. It's obvious that the dude, you know, has some type of mental problems, and I'm scared for his health, and I'm scared for the health of people around him. But now he's been going on another little tirade on social media. Now he's claiming that his brother has also been replaced by the government and murdered. And he's even asking like local police to step in and investigate. And I'm hoping that local police step in and stop him from hurting his mom. That's what I'm hoping for, because it's definitely going to end up that way eventually. But I'm going to go ahead and roll a couple of these clips from Penn's Instagram account But before I do that, people often ask, how can they support the channel? And the answer to that question is very simple. You can support the channel by simply liking the video and sharing the video on social media. Also, be sure to drop a comment in the comment section to join the conversation that we're having here today. But if you want to take your support one step further, you can always drop a super thanks or send a Cash App. It is always greatly appreciated. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and tune into this weird clip of BJ Penn basically having a mental breakdown on Instagram while accusing his family of being government replacements.
Lorraine Shin, my brothers GD Penn, Reagan Penn, and Kalani Mamazuka were all murdered. And this picture right here, I took it during the governor's campaign. My mom's anti-helix is falling off and in her ear. And then you can see the two different kind of skins on the back of her neck, that she's wearing some kind of makeup, a skin makeup. And then here's my brother. I thought his ears looked funny, so I go, let me see your ears. And then I looked and I saw his eye later, and then he has freckles on his ear. And none of us have freckles, not even my white dad doesn't even have freckles. So just I want to ask the Hilo Police Department, what are you guys going to do? Let's get these guys. Let's get these guys. They got murdered. They go find out these people, and then we got to take DNA tests for all the other Lorraine shit. Video earlier talking about my mom and my brothers getting hurt. This is real JD and fake JD. Real JD has all of his teeth and a pointy chin. Fake JD is taller and has a crooked front left tooth and no back teeth, even though me, JD, and Reagan never had a cavity in our whole entire lives. I finally found a real picture of JD, his wedding picture. The fake JD with no teeth is from the last Thanksgiving a couple months ago. This is the original picture that I noticed something was strange because his eye color was brown, not black, and had a crooked front tooth, which I never saw before. I googled JD's name and there were no pictures of him on the internet, only one or two of himself and none showing his teeth. So I asked Rich Cho, Bellator matchmaker who is always with JD, to send me a picture of JD with his teeth. Rich sent a picture, but it looked like it was photoshopped. His tooth was extra white. So I kept bugging fake Lorraine Chin about JD's teeth and that it wasn't him, to have JD send me a picture. And then this new fake JD guy sends a picture of all of his teeth back in his mouth. Third JD has a growth up on his right eye. His right cauliflower ear is completely different. And the other JD, and he doesn't match up, but I try to push them together in a collage thing just to try to line it up, just to see if it is real and realize how many people are playing JD. And this picture that I noticed, the kids look like Fraggle Rock. LJ's neck is so long, so I compared him to long neck guy. And then I looked at the younger boy MJ, and his eye goes by the nose, and there's nothing here that looks like LJ's.
Now, there's obviously no truth to anything that BJ Penn is saying, right? But the sad part is that BJ Penn believes this full-heartedly. So when you look at this situation, you got to keep that in mind. We can look at it and say, oh, this is stupid. What is wrong with this guy? You could look at it and laugh. You could look at it and come to whatever conclusion you want to come to. But for BJ Penn, at least in his mind, this is a reality. He's navigating the false reality in his mind every day that his entire family, people that he loves the most, his mother and his brother, they've been murdered. And they've been replaced. And when he sees these people who he thinks are pretending to be his brother and pretending to be his mom, he views them in a very negative light. Like, hey, you're responsible for killing my actual mom and you're replacing her. So he views these people as, I don't even want to say an enemy. It has to be something beyond that. So you can imagine the thoughts that are going through this man's mind. So that's what's really scary. Because we can look at it and we know this isn't real and we laugh it off, but he thinks it's real. So let me ask you this. If you 100% thought in your mind that someone killed your mom and then replaced her, what would you be willing to do to retaliate? What would you do to her replacement? So I really feel like we're kind of just sitting here, standing by as the clock is ticking, waiting for the headline that BJ Penn did something absolutely horrendous. And as a UFC fan, I'm disappointed that I don't see other, UFC fighters speaking out and maybe coming to help this guy or something. I think BJ Penn has even been on like the Joe Rogan podcast and stuff like that. Hopefully Joe can reach out to him. Someone, I hope, is reaching out to him to get him some help before he does something horrible and unthinkable. Because that is the next step. That is 100% the next step. And I'm so tired of seeing situations like this one, because you know what the headlines will be. And you know what the reactions will be. Everyone will act like it came out of nowhere. Everyone will say they never saw this coming. Oh, how could this be? Everyone's going to be so surprised. But the warning signs were there. BJ Penn has been displaying the fact that he has some type of mental health issues, and he's going through it, to the world. So I'm going to hate when a couple of months from now, a year from now, a couple of weeks from now, when this guy does something crazy, I'm going to hate seeing the headlines and the reactions to it, because I knew something was wrong and I tried to warn people that something was wrong. And the warnings were out there. But a lot of people didn't care. A lot of people laughed it off. Even his fellow colleagues in the UFC, they seem to be silent about this matter. And I'm hoping that more of them speak out before it's too late. The situation is just so sad. And as you can see, the brother is even making an effort trying to send BJ Penn pictures to prove that, hey, I'm your real brother, dude. I'm your real brother, don't worry. It's sad when you think about it. Imagine being in that position. Your own brother is telling you, hey, you're not my brother, you're a replacement, and you're maybe not understanding what your brother's going through mentally, and you're having to try to prove to your own brother that you're actually his brother. Now, didn't that sound kind of mind-boggling? Just saying it out loud kind of confused me. So I can't even begin to imagine what the family is going through. And like I was explaining earlier, the mother is just kind of trying to dismiss it and just trying to go about and help him do his chores around the house as this guy's flipping out and filming her, talking about her being a clone and stuff. It's just one of those extremely sad and frustrating type of situations where you can see where this is headed. You can see the train wreck before it happens. You want to stop it. You're screaming as loud as you can to stop it. But at the end of the day, you are powerless and you can't really do anything about it but watch. So we're just going to have to watch. Hopefully this video spreads out there and more people figure out what's going on. And maybe someone will hear these words and they will be encouraged to speak to their friend BJ Penn. Because BJ Penn has a lot of friends out there. He has people who I think would be willing to support him, and I just wish that they would be more vocal. But for now, you guys let me know what you think about this down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all very soon in the next one.